Hello everyone. Well, I'm not sure what time it is wherever you are in the world, but there's so much happening at the moment with boats. Obviously Ari has just lost his mast, which is really unfortunate. Grego's right alongside and he's headed up northeast all of a sudden. Even Jean-Luc heading out over here, heading to the east to Australia. Some interesting things happening there. And Mark Slats is about to enter into what we think might be some very treacherous seas. So it's just a quick overview. The guys down the back end of the fleet here, they're doing all the normal things. There's not a lot happening. I'll put the, well, there is things happening, but it's not quite the same as the guys underneath the Cape right now. Still this big dominant airflow. I won't go into all that. I'm here to really talk about Gregor and Ari and Mark Slats and Jean-Luc. Tapio's back on there, big hole. Loic is sort of heading in the right direction now. Susie is on the SoundCloud today, and in fact we had Jean-Luc talking. You want to have a listen to that because I asked him whether he had a drogue, and you'll be interested in what he had to say. As I expected, he does have a drogue, but he's never used one in his life before. He thinks it's important to keep moving. Anyway, this is the wind the guys have got at the moment. Here's Ari. Now I'm going to push this up one more time. This will be a quick overview, by the way. This might only take less than 10 minutes because I just want to explain a few things that are going on. Tommy's happy, Susie happy, everything happening. Uku's pretty happy, you know, he's got no problems. And of course, poor old Ari here lost his wind vane, the brake coupling. It's designed to do that. We'll talk a bit about that a bit more this Saturday. What we're going to try and do is maybe get Robin Davey in tomorrow into the office and talk about this. Robin lost his mast on another leg. He sailed thousands of miles under a jury rig. So he and I will have a chat maybe tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, and look at what Ari is going through now. It's great to see Ari feeling so confident. He is in control, and he's got his sights set on Cape Town. But this is all about Gregor at the moment. I'll push this up again. I saw a comment. Someone said, "What's Gregor up to?" First of all, he was down here running with warps and all the rest of it. And we didn't ask him to do anything in relation to Ari. Ari hasn't asked for any assistance, and Gregor was doing it tough with some big winds. The winds right now are dropping back a bit, and you'll see all of a sudden he's sort of done this big hook up and he's heading northeast. Now there's probably two reasons for that. The first one is we will drop the currents in here. So we've got this wind coming from a west-southwesterly direction at the moment, straight over Gregor. And if we hit currents, look what's happening. He's currently right in this eddy's moved again. It's come a little bit further to the west, and you've now got two eddies here, one going around this way, the other going around that way. First of all, in relation to Ari, a few people said, "Oh, I wonder if the current had something to do with him losing his mast." I would say not, because the wind is coming this way. It's cutting across the current, so it wouldn't necessarily be making it curl. It wouldn't have helped, but to calm the sea down. But I don't think it would have made it too treacherous. It could have changed the shape. It would be, might have been better off if there wasn't that current, but that's an issue. Gregor, it looks as if he's sailing northeast at the moment. That's probably not the case. I would say what you'd find is he will be sailing probably a little bit north of east, sailing in this direction. This current's running at 3.5 knots, maybe even more. And it's just literally hooking him up and taking him in that direction. Now the good news is if we flick back, bearing in mind this is the direction of the current, it's going this way. If you look at the wind, we go straight back to the wind. The wind is going that way, so you've got the current going this way, the wind going that way. It's cutting across the current, and it might change the shape of the waves a bit. If we go into the waves now, look at what we've got. Purple, that means it's forecasting about 6 metre waves. So I reckon if it's 6 metre projected and he's got the current, he might have up to 7 metres. Something like that. Remember what happened to Jean-Luc last time. Because it's going across the current, it usually doesn't have a big effect. What you don't want to see is exactly what's going to happen to Mark Slats. Now, I'll just come back here. Mark is over in this direction. He's currently making 5 knots, okay? Look at the wind. The wind is going this way. It's a southwesterly wind coming straight in that direction. Now, here's the challenge for Mark tonight. This is the Gullis current coming down here, and it's right in his way. He has to cross this. It's about 40 miles across, and it's coming from the northeast, right, heading straight down to collide head on with this wind, right? So there's the current that way, and look at this. When I just relate it back to the wind, bingo, there's the wind the other way. Now, if you read anything about currents and want to know anything that's going on, wind against tide is a real issue. This is moving at 3.5 knots, maybe more, and he's got 30 knots, 35 knots or so gusting coming this way. The sea state that Mark has got right now, just get rid of that. That's Barry talking about something. The sea state that we've got right now, it's actually, if you look over there, it's a bit more than 6 meters. It's probably 6 to 7. So Mark's going into a current, really strong current, with 6 to 7 meter seas, 35 knots of breeze, possibly a bit more, and these really nasty currents. So he's going to have some challenges tonight. We discussed it, and I've sent him a navigation warning. I've told him exactly where he's headed and said approximately based on his current speed, he's doing 5 knots when he's expected to get there and how long it'll take. So I've just warned him about this one because this is potentially particularly nasty. So anyway, Gregor still not having much fun. I'm sure he'll mention this later on. He probably doesn't know he's in the current. There was no point in me issuing him a navigation warning on this one. So he's on his own, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Tough boat, tough sailor. And we're all thinking about Ari, of course, right now. So that's really all I wanted to bring up, and just keep an eye out for tomorrow with Robin and I chatting about all the things associated with this part of the world. It's pretty challenging, and we're all devastated because R was such a great competitor in the Golden Globe race. He understands it. He's sort of coping with it pretty well. And he's got a job on his hand now. His new challenge is to make it to Cape Town. And we wish him well with that. Watch this space. There's probably plenty more coming, but interesting night tonight. Thanks.